This is the Bush Whisperer coming at you from the most beautiful penguin sanctuary, southern tip of Africa, Boulders Beach, Simonstown, Cape Agulhas. I'm here with my little friends, all the penguins. They're here, they're all around me, invisible in the bushes almost. You can see a couple of them there. They're very quiet, they're very peaceful. Come to speak to you today about anger. And just exactly what anger is. Why anger is. What we can do about anger. How to process anger. I spoke to you before about transmuting anger to pain, because anger can be damaging. Obviously it creates a stress hormone, cortisol. It shuts down the frontal lobes of the brain, stops the thinking process, stops one from being able to rationalize properly, from being able to effectively grasp what's happening in the situation around you. Also dulls and dims the senses because of this. So one's ability to be sensible is decreased as well. So anger is quite a toxic emotion, quite dangerous in many senses. Also, it's bad for the heart. It brings with it adrenaline, which is obviously not going to improve your health, not going to make you live any longer. Affects the way you breathe, can lead you to the point of hyperventilating, shifting your consciousness yet further away from the rhythm of beauty and of harmony and balance. So anger is very much something that we can't escape. There are people that will lie to us. It'll make you angry. There are people that will be bullies, that will pick on other people that are weaker than them. If you're like me, that'll really get on your nerves. A client of mine was asking me about anger, so I thought I'd turn this into a video, because anger is such a common emotion these days. Although it's actually turns into a passion. We experience it and we turn it into a passion very easily. And as a passion, it can move you. It can move you to do things. It can move you to shift your consciousness. It can move you to shift things in your life, situations with people. If you see somebody beating a dog or hurting an animal, anger will help you to very quickly stop that. So as such, anger is also potentially a constructive device. Though for it to be constructive, one needs to be able to experience it and then contemplate it. That's the key. And then obviously the transmutation of it. And that's a different video, which I have made. Don't know if I've uploaded it yet. If I haven't, I will. Transmutation of anger. When we are experiencing anger, it very often can come from injustice. It's probably the most direct experience of anger that there is. Though we can become delusional. If one is in an angry state and one's often in this angry state and the cortisol is affecting one's brain, closing one's senses, closing one's ability to rationalize, one might start to feel this sense of unfairness all the time and start anthropomorphizing the fairness onto every situation with all the people around us in our lives. And this can lead to damaging relationships and damaging situations that aren't healthy for the person or for those around that are engaged with you. So being able to observe anger is the first stage. We shouldn't run from our anger, and we should really consider our anger very closely. It should be an opportunity to introvert, because if we just extrovert our anger all the time, we'll be reacting. And when we are reacting, we are losing our energy. We are dispensing our life force, our chi. Our shen gets channeled straight into chi, and the shen doesn't get processed first. The shen is in the sphere of the heart. This is the astral frequencies of vibration. They get channeled straight through into the etheric, which wishes to be released through some form of word or action. And then the impulse can cause us to become impulsive in a destructive way. that's destructive both to ourselves and to others. Abuse normally happens because of anger. I want you to consider that. Every abuser that abuses somebody else does so because deep down they're angry. So we can become abusive if we allow the anger to get a grip on us. Or if others are angry, we can become abused, because this is what anger does. It causes abuse when it's out of check. And this seems to be a big pattern in the world at the moment. Abuse is a very, very serious issue. I have someone in my life who I'm sort of bound to look after, in a sense, indirectly, not directly through my connection with them, but what happens to them affects other people. And so I have to engage with this person who's suffering from some severe anger issues. And it can be very challenging dealing with someone with anger. You need to be able to draw clear lines of distinction. You need to be able to draw your lines in the sand, so to speak, when you're dealing with people with anger. And you need to be very grounded. You need to be very strong, so that it doesn't make you angry, so you don't react to that anger by becoming angry. I've got to be very careful not to become angry, because I can become extremely angry. I can become more angry than other people. So I learned to control my anger as a child, realizing that my capacity towards feeling emotions and passions are greater than most other people's, which makes me almost more dangerous. Good morning.
Morning.
And so this is something for those of you that are very passionate human beings. The anger can become more of a challenge. I spent much of my youth being very, very angry, having to process anger. And obviously the anger made me very impulsive, dangerous in a sense. I could say things, I could be really direct. And obviously, you know, growing up as a boy, if other boys touched me or tried to push me, I would hurt them, which wasn't good. Hello. And so, thank God martial arts came to protect me from my anger, so that I was able to learn to focus it, channel it, and control it. So there's a great way to learn to deal with anger. The martial training. Some form of martial training is a great way to learn to focus, access, and control your anger. For anger does require control. One needs to be able to focus on the deeper aspects of one's emotional field and be able to control one's passions when one faces anger. Though anger can be a great teacher as well. It can be a great signal, a great sign that something's wrong. A great sign from the inner planes, from the guides. Because from a shamanic perspective, anger comes from the guides. When the guides are sharing an impulse and an instinct and awakening us, good morning, to the deeper aspects of ourselves, we can experience the anger in the consciousness field. And this anger can become a tool. So sometimes you need anger. If you've had somebody that's looking for trouble with you and you get impulsively angry, they will probably stop. Though, if one cannot control that anger, it will become a habit. And as a habit, you'll end up becoming abusive. So realize this when you're facing your anger. Never ever allow your anger to get beyond your control. The fastest way to gain control of the anger so that you can observe it is to take charge of your breath. Start breathing deeply. Start focusing on the rhythm of your breath and allow the breath to become your anchoring facility. Allow it to bring you to the ground. Allow it to bring you to the state of harmony that you require in order to be able to resolve the passions that are arising from the sphere of emotion. And that way, anger will not be your enemy. Anger will be your friend. Rage is an interesting sense. From a martial arts perspective, you learn to channel rage, which is a weird concept. You totally control anger and channel rage when you strike. And that way, your strikes become empowered with your etheric substance. And the etheric substance and the fluids and the flows of the ethers can add magnetic pull and push to your strikes, creating a very powerful blow. We call this ki or chi, depending on which school of martial arts you're from. And utilizing this, the Kalari Payato, they utilize the Mama technologies, which is a shout and a scream when you strike using sound. In the same way that the Japanese and the Chinese utilize the release of sound in order to channel this emotional current of passion that aligns the forces of the etheric substances to be magnetizing towards your goals, and your body able to channel these dense frequencies. So there's something to consider with rage. I'll give you an example. Fear. Fear is a very disturbing emotion. Now, I learned as a child that fear can be transmuted to anger. Fear can sometimes be a challenging thing to deal with. So if you can transmute fear to anger, then you can transmute anger to something else. It becomes pain. And then you can transmute the pain to something else. And that'll become sorrow. And you can transmute the sorrow to the realizations of the relativities of being. And that'll bring you the sense of compassion and joy. So these emotions can all be shifted musically from one octave, one frequency, one tone to another tone. And that way we're able to control our consciousness field, able to shift our emotional state and bring it into a deeper state of recognition and awareness, so that we're able to gain control of our consciousness field. And that's really the purpose of this life, to be able to take charge of who we are, take responsibility for what we do, what we say. Smash the like button, share this video if you think others will benefit from it. And don't forget, subscribe if you want to catch my daily uploads. They are coming hard and fast every day. And don't be afraid of your anger. And don't allow fear to govern you. If you concentrate on the fear and you breathe through it, and you become aware of what's making you afraid and focus on that, it'll probably change itself to anger naturally. If somebody's making you afraid and you focus on the fact that they're making you afraid, you would feel that it's unjust. And focusing on the injustice would transmute that fear into anger. Because you would start recognizing that's not right. And the more you focus on how that's not right, you'll start realizing that you don't feel good about that's not right. And as you focus on that, it will become anger. And that will dissolve the fear. So these frequencies in consciousness, these emotional states, are all interlinked, interwoven into a tapestry of being. Realize this. Use this. Take charge of your anger. Use your anger. If you become angry, it's probably because something needs to change. Either something inside of you or something in your world. Contemplate it, sublimate, look deep, find out whether it's you that's out of tune or whether it's something in your world that's out of tune. If you ever witness a man doing something bad to a woman, you should be filled with injustice. You should be raging at that experience. If you see anyone doing something bad to a child, it's a natural instinct to become angry and to take action. And in those situations, action needs to be taken. If I ever caught anyone doing something bad to a child, you can believe I'm going to be angry. Then that person is going to be quite sorry, because that's how anger works. So there is a place for anger, though it's a very dangerous two-edged sword. You got to watch it, you got to control it, you got to be in charge. This is a Bush Whisperer coming at you from the beautiful Penguin Sanctuary. Hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to smile. Smiling is a great way to bringing your awareness into the consciousness field and helping you to become centered and in control, because it actually causes pressure on the pineal and the pituitary glands because of the muscles that lift the face. They actually create a compression on the skull, and all of the bones of the skull are loose, so they fit together and they move when you change the shape of your face. That thing was buzzing right in my ear. Very loud. So realize this, and don't allow it to take charge of you. Become your own master. This is the Bush Whisperer coming at you from the beautiful Penguin Sanctuary. Om Shanti.